Good morning, YouTube viewers and subscribers. Now, you all know by the nature of my channel that a tachometer is one key instrument that I absolutely cannot be without. Otherwise, running engines is really pointless. And in the past, I've used a handful of different other photo resistive or photo detector type tachometers. But the one I've got in front of me here is actually a laser tachometer. And there's quite an interesting story that goes along with this, so bear with me. A few months back when I was searching for a laser engine on eBay, I did a search where I just typed in laser engine, laser airplane engine. And every time I looked at that search to look for laser engines, this tachometer would always show up. Not this exact one, but one similar. Well, finally I was just like, you know what, this thing isn't all that expensive. I'm just going to order one of these things and see what happens and see if I can get it to work any better than some of the other ones I've got. So I placed the order and then I contacted the seller. And the seller's name in the eBay store is MN Measurement. The man that runs that store, his name is Karsten, and he contacted me right away and he said, you know what, I think this will work good for you. And I sent him a link to my YouTube channel and he watched a few of the videos and he responded back and he's like, I see that what you do is you turn the tack on and then you walk away. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what I need. And he's like, oh, the one you ordered is a push on tack, or you push to hold and then it takes a reading. It's not a continuous thing. And I said, well, the other thing I noticed is that I don't think that it shows that the RPM, real-time RPM per blade of prop. And he's like, oh no, that one, the one you selected does not. So he pointed me to this one, which is the ST838030 style, which actually does show, has a little symbol there, selectable for props. So this is a little bit more tuned to airplane type applications. But he said, well, the same thing though, this is a push to hold thing. And I said, okay, well, I'm sorry, can you just refund my money and cancel my order, because that isn't going to work for me. I've got to have one that I can turn on and walk away. And he said, let me look at this. So a day goes by and I contact him, and what he had done was, and this is just an example of customer service that you don't ever see anymore nowadays, it just doesn't happen, and that's why I'm so impressed with this. He actually took one of these out of his stock, opened it up, modified it with a toggle switch so that now I can turn this thing on, put the switch in one position, and it's consistently shooting out laser light now. So he modified this from its original operating condition just for me, sold it to me for the same price as the other one, which was slightly less expensive than this one to begin with before the modification, and now I have it. So this is one that I'm actually going to try and use it a lot more. The one real big drawback to a laser tachometer is that it really needs to bounce off of a reflective surface, and that's why this tachometer and many like it come with reflective tape. Now I've got 3 strips of reflective tape that came with this, and right away you can say, well, that's going to be a problem. And I said, yeah, the same thing, because I've got a ton of different props, and if I have to put 2 pieces of laser tape on every prop, or at least as many props as I can, that's kind of a problem for rebalancing the props. These strips are only so wide, and if I use just 1-inch strips, then it's going to be very critical that I make sure I put the strips exactly in the same spot so this thing can continuously measure them. So there are some issues with this particular thing. I think in general a laser tachometer is probably going to be more accurate than a photoresistive or a photodetector style, maybe, because it's not going to have the impact of varying lighting angles or shade, and then the sun comes out from behind the clouds and that type of thing that you would see issues with when I was trying to use this dumb Turnage tack, or even this Globy one. Now, I'm not saying these other tacks I've got are bad. They probably work very well for modelers, but as you can see in my videos, I'm not necessarily using the tacks the same way that you would use them at the field, because I'm actually turning them on and leaving them on, but because to get them in the frame of the videos I'm making, they have to be a certain distance from the prop. They have to be readable. I have to, all these things that are just that my application is different than what you would use at the field when you're just trying to measure that, because I'm trying to actually produce a video that's readable and understandable. So those are things that I have to overcome. That's why this hopefully can be more accurate. I'm pretty sure it will be more accurate, but the fact of having to put reflective strips of tape on my props is somewhat problematic. But I have just gone ahead and put batteries in here. This toggle switch is in this position, so I'm just going to turn it on. And as you can see right now, there is no laser coming out of there. If I hold it, now you can see that there's a laser light there. So I'm going to put this toggle switch in the upper position, and now that laser light is on continuously. So if I just kind of do this, you can see that now I'm getting a reading. And if I turn the toggle switch off, it goes to a hold mode. Obviously no reading. So it looks like this toggle switch does work, and it's showing me here that this is a 2-blade application. Let me see if I can do the mode or change to different prop. Anyway, this is a tachometer that I'm going to be trying out in the near future, and I'll find a couple of props, select props, certain engines I guess, and try using the reflective tape and see if this is any more accurate. Now the problem with what I do is I'm going to have to actually make sure I position this thing in front of the prop, or the area of the prop that has the reflection on there, or the reflective tape on there too. So it's going to be somewhat interesting, but look for me to try and use this. What I'd really love to do is try and get a direct correlation between two, but I don't know that I have a rig that I can set up that's actually going to give me that kind of correlation, because I'd really like to have them at the same distance, in the same field of view, and all of that kind of thing. So I haven't worked out if I'm going to be able to do anything like that at this time yet, but anyway, we're going to give it a shot. And I want to thank Karsten at NN Measurements very much for modifying this device for me, and I'm going to give it a shot and see how it works.